Gotta play to win every day. Never knock a grind or hustle. Quarterback calls in the huddle. We not blood, but he know he my brother. He go, I go, word to my mother. You know that I live by the way.
All right, let's get right into it then. Welcome back to You're Not Gonna Like This. This is episode 27, financial literacy. A very important topic, if you will. A lot of people want to know about what is financial literacy and the steps to how to become literate in finance, generational wealth, investing, budgeting, the whole nine. We're gonna do our best to try to hit on whatever we can hit on to help you better understand finance. I might learn something today as well because as guests, we got my cousin, we got him from California, way out there. We got him on here, and I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whenever y'all watching this thing, you feel me? It's your favorite funny looking cute partner tapping in one time. JD, yes, a good cousin of our fellow TJ, you feel me? And also 1/5 member of the Area 510 podcast. So if you ever done finishing watching my cousin's podcast, go ahead and tap in and hear some cool content, man. We're available on all streaming platforms. We got a couple of YouTube's videos up too, you feel me? But more is on the way. But yes, thank you again for having me, my guy.
Of course, of course, of course. Being that you are a finance major, you majored in finance at was it Georgia State, correct?
Nah. Clark Atlanta University, man. Come
Clark
on, man. Shout out
Atlanta.
to them HBCUs,
Another
man.
another HBCU. Shout out to him. All right. So yeah, he's a finance major, and what better than have somebody that's been spending, the last 4 years in secondary education, learning about the finance world and having others. I had other cousins as well, but unfortunately they weren't available. I was trying to get Donnie, but Donnie he's flying into Virginia tomorrow, so he had to go to sleep tonight. So we would have got him. Then yeah, we'd have had two finance majors on the show. So so you have what I would say expertise at what we're going to talk about today. But like I said, the main thing we're going to talk about is financial literacy, budgeting and investing. Two things JD wanted to talk about: the pros and cons of trading stocks, since everybody loves to trade stocks and things about that, and then the important necessary steps of generational wealth. So first things first, what is financial literacy? Well, it's obviously more advanced than just saying to be literate in finance. No, it's just a little bit more than that. So when it comes to financial literacy, it is the ability to understand and use various financial skills. With that made that mean, having a bank account, figuring out what you buy first, grocery store, you go to the groceries, or you can buy the video game you want, all things like that. Financial literacy, big broad term, but very simplistic. What you got for that, JD?
Oh no. Pretty much definitely nailed it on the head, but I'll also add learning like or not so learn well, yeah, actually learning the different vehicles or tools when it comes to financial literacy or even financial services for that matter, or even learning how to manage properly. You feel me? Because when you hear the term financial literacy, people just automatically kind of assume like it uh just more so focuses on like stocks and like bonds or whatever, and like learning how to trade. But like it's so many different avenues to it when it comes to financial literacy as far as real estate, uh, uh
Trading currencies has been pretty
yeah.
popular
Oh yeah, absolutely.
for
And
it.
budgeting as well too. And also vehicles or tools such as like life insurance and like really understanding where you want to be 5-10 years from now, or even like you say in a year or so, because everyone has like different goals or admirations with what their definition of wealth, or even how they would consider for themselves to be comfortable, because ultimately everybody wants to, have X amount of dollars and be able to pretty much do whatever as far as travel or buying, using nice things, whatever, luxury things of that nature. But ultimately, and based when we get on the topic about generational wealth, that really is what the main key focus is when it comes to financial literacy, because you definitely have to be selfless, or not selfish but selfless, because you gotta prepare or plan for not just for yourself, but especially if you passing this on to a child, or maybe to a business partner, or whomever, because when you're gone, you're going to hope that your finances, or your funds will be able to ease anyone else's troubles from 5, 10, or let's say 3 to 5 generations, but it's definitely especially like I say these past 2, 3 years, a lot of people been more having a more of the conversation about it, because I feel as though it's definitely a foreign language when you start trying to throw in big words, or lingos for that matter. But like I say, honestly, it's just really about managing and like budgeting your finances, and really exhausting all your options as far as how you're gonna see that goal.
Oh yeah, good. Yeah, that was a lot, low key, but
Yeah, my sorry about that. I tend
oh,
to
you good,
ramble
you good,
sometimes,
you
but I
good.
promise I try. I bring
Knowledge is
everything back.
power, and they got a lot in that nice little spiel there about how financial literacy can be applicable to not just what you are doing now, but 5 to 10 years in the future. And you talked about another important thing, life insurance, things like that. Being that I'm 20, I'm 21 now, 22 in September, but I got 3 more years until they kick, till the government kick me off. My mama's health, life and car insurance and all that. Then I gotta go find my own and stuff like that. I gotta know what premiums and know and all that great stuff. But I'm gonna worry about that when I get there. But
No,
I'm
it's
gonna worry
true,
about
true.
it. I'm gonna worry about it when I get there. Because if I ain't got the money to afford it, then there ain't no point in me worrying about it.
And you definitely have to be honest with yourself, because a lot of people tend to spend on what possibly they may have, or thinking more so like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have it eventually. But it's like, no, you gotta really be honest and really understand, or try to definitely not try. The ultimate goal is to spend or earn more than what you spend, or spend less than what you earn, because we tend to, I know, especially when I was growing up, I wasn't necessarily, you could say, the most responsible, but definitely my parents helped me understand, at least trying to save for another thing. Because I think what probably kicked it off to a degree was like when my dad we take probably when just getting well, it's a couple things. So with him, get some shoes or whatever, and he was like, hey, you got these Jordans that they about like two almost 300 sometimes, or you can spend that same amount and get 2 pair of shoes. And I'm like, well, shit, who doesn't want an extra pair of shoes for the same price you was gonna pay for one? And then that way you can and you can have different options as far as outfits you can wear and stuff. You're not having to always wear the same thing trying to dress, or just basically have these shoes that I'm probably gonna end up dirty in anyway. But that's one thing I appreciated about more so having the option to have like certain things when it came to that. And also even getting inspired as far as even doing good in school. One of my mom's friends, they would challenge me to say, if you get all A's, you get $200. I'm like, who don't? That's easy money. Like, cause now I will say, granted, I know not everybody has everybody learning strategies different, or just they
Of
way
course,
about
of
growing
course.
up. But when you put money in front of people, they go find a way for sure. So and definitely when you looking at if you get a chance, kind of see like these Fortune 500 companies, or folks that you see more so in the business side, that you don't necessarily see them doing any real physical work, but they still in all making twice, if not 3 times as much as someone who's putting their body on the line. So it's like not only can you make more by just really more so processing things, but who don't want, wants to have to always physically work for it when you can really strategize and basically be making money while you sleep. So that was something I was like, shit, who don't want to do that? But I understand math isn't always everybody's best subject, but I know that at least helped me at least want to be interested in that field. So like I say, it definitely was learning process for from having to really understand, like, all right, you only got $10. That don't mean you go to McDonald's and spend 8 of that. You ain't getting nothing back for next week, so you really gotta put things in perspective.
Allocate it properly.
Exactly. Allocate. Exactly. So yeah, I've got tons of overdraft stories or or just going in blind thinking that I make an account, but honestly, it's within yourself. It's like, look, I'm tired of having to keep guessing. Like, what do I really have, and like, what do I need to do in order to get to where I want to go? So that's a lot of things. People, unfortunately, that's older than both of us that still don't aren't as responsible or even care to think about that. But
hopefully, that changes. We be the originals, and then those that come after us will have all the knowledge and the power and things. So it's not these huge gaps and all types of things when it comes to being financially literate and other things of that example. I heard they said, I think it was Jay-Z. It might be Jay-Z, it might be somebody else, but it sounds like something Jay-Z would say when I heard it first time. When somebody told me, he was like, if you don't have 10%, more than 10% of the item you want to buy, then you shouldn't buy it. So like, for instance, if you don't have at least $600 in your bank account, don't go buy the new video game off the street.
And to the agile point, because I think to what Jay-Z's direct quote on that same sentiment was, if you can't buy it twice, then you don't need to buy it at all.
So 10%, you can't buy it twice. I know it was something there,
but even 10% going percentage wise, that's still
that's
still
true.
a fair
I
game.
like that too.
Yeah,
that might be my own quote right there. Because them $300, if you ain't got $3K, bro, that ain't gonna come. That ain't gonna come back quick. There's no that. Or like another way is like the way I get paid. I break my checks up 50%, 50%. 50% goes to the bank account. 50% stays. That's my spending money. That's what I got. So check. $1,000. I got 500. I can spend $500 or whatever I need. But I also got to think about things I do got to pay for, like gas, of course, and the credit card bills and all the other stuff that's gonna come in at the end of the month. So I got to make sure I have money for that as well. So it's like, for me personally, my mom has always thought of me as being like fiscal. Like, I've always been real fiscal, very financially responsible with my money. She's always thought of that as of me, because when she tries to say to my sister, like, nah, TJ is like way more like, he already knows where his money is going before his money gets there. Like, he be making plans with the money. And that is very true. Like, I be key on my hours. Like, I know what I'm expecting based on what I work. And I was like, I know what's coming. And I'm like, all right, so this is where it's going to go to. If I want to get some clothes, I got enough money to get some clothes. If I don't, I don't. Stuff like that. So like, the long story short is like, financial literacy is really not hard, guys. It's really not. It's like anything else. Like, once you practice it enough, you're gonna become adept at it. You're gonna know how. All right, I can't go buy this now because like I got the speakers and I want Windows 10. I've been wanting speakers and Windows 10 for like the last 2 years, but I have not bought it yet because it's not been a time where it's like, okay, I can actually go get this and then be good. Not just be like, oh, I got the new speakers and then credit card bill hit, not credit card bill. And nobody wants that $40 late fee. Oof,
man,
extra bread.
Tell you about it, but it's good that you having that discipline at this age, because
everybody makes mistakes. Now, I ain't gonna say
absolutely,
I've always.
absolutely.
I ain't say I've always been disciplined. Like, it's been some irresponsible purchases out here, but long story short for me, it's just like, You don't want to overspend. You always want to have money in your pocket. I like having money, even if I don't spend it. It's like I just like having it because it's like if anything
You
goes
always
wrong,
need emergency funds.
exactly. And if anything goes wrong, I can go do this, that, and the third and be good and not be like, oh, dang, I only got $100 left. What are we gonna do? Because people
Exactly.
swear $100 is a lot of money, but gas, that's
Back in
I
from
just
like
paid.
95 and before, maybe 98, but
Man, look, you know
that
that
money
gas,
getting spent to on gas, like you said, on gas or
what
going out to eat.
what man, look, you heard about that gas shortage on the East Coast over here, bruh.
Hey
What
man, I'm
gas went up
even though
10 gas
we
went
ain't
up
we
15
fortunate to
cents.
still have gas right now, but shoot, I'm seeing them prices, and as me being
And you from
finally
Cali,
a
so I know
car
it's like
owner.
$5 easy.
I mean, shoot, just about. I think the all right. So the most expensive one, and mind you, I got to fill up with premium, so that's an easy.
Ooh,
So I
Jesus,
think
that's
the most
650.
expensive I didn't seen was probably 479 right now, and I literally just passed by a gas station. But see, the thing about financial literacy is that you got to take advantage of some of these companies that's literally is giving out free money to agree. So I literally had downloaded this app called Gas Buddy, and this like not no plug or nothing, but I mean it's just something I use and they got something similar to it as well. I forget actual name of it, but you ultimately they you save dollars. So for instance, if I see that 479 gas station, whatever, because I got Gas Buddy, they'll maybe take off maybe 6 cents or maybe even 10, 20 cents, you feel me, depending on the
That's
week.
what.
So it's like, and you think that may not add up, but if you putting dub in there, you feel me, or you gotta fill
Adds
up
up
the whole
crazy.
tank, like you can easily save like you feel me, $2, $3 that would have ended up going to them versus you can keep that in your account. And some may think like, oh, they can spend it on whatever, but like if you adding on or filling it up more than what you would like, then shoot, that's you almost saving $5, $10, $20 a
Like
month.
prime example, just this past, just like an hour ago, I was pumping gas, and gas is 285, but I got my Sheets card, so it's 3 cents off the dollar automatic. I got $50. I had $50. My truck took all 17 gallons of that gas, and I finished with 48.68. So I had $1.50 to spare. If I didn't use that loyalty card, I wouldn't have got
That 50 gone.
exactly that 50 gone. But I saved it. People like it's $1, bro. Hey, look, man,
Hey,
that
look,
dollar,
but you still need a
that
dollar
dollar might
for
come into
that
play
drink that you
later.
want.
That dollar might come into play later when I need it most. But nah, yeah, definitely do that, bro. Like if you got a gas station, like now don't get no credit card now. No difference between the credit cards and the loyalty cards. Be a loyalty member. You don't want to be credit card member because that's a whole nother process of extra stuff. Like, nah, you don't. I don't know why you'd have a credit card at a gas station anyway. You're not buying gas that frequently. Bro. Every 2 weeks, every week for me, but still. If I'm not gonna fill up my car if I ain't got the money for it. That seemed like an extra bill to pay at the end of the month. Like, no,
Yeah,
no need,
exactly.
no
Definitely
need.
gotta be
Yeah, I'm not
wise.
trying to have all these credit cards open. Max of 2 at the most.
But now, Steve, going back to financial literacy, and mind you, I used to think that way too. Like I didn't want to touch my credit card for nothing in this world. You feel me? Like
facts.
I just really hate the fact that, or knowing that I gotta owe somebody some, or have to pay this off. You feel me, on some money that I don't got. I get it,
That's
but
what I'm saying. It's a finesse. I feel like it's just a huge
but you
finesse.
can also use that to your advantage to if you're planning the right way, because especially if nowadays people are being business owners, you can use those lines of credit to either start up your business or get something that get a nice little pick me up, and your ultimately, of course, your goal is to pay that off, you feel me, but just knowing that where you're at right now, you at least have the buying power to make certain moves or assets to where it will not only just pay that off or when you can, but put you in a better position, because ultimately what the my boy Dom Kenny would say, man, it's OPM, man. It's other people's money, man. You really don't have to spend your money like that for real. Or you is as they say, it's definitely a way
You do, but you don't. So like when it comes to like, for instance, like all subscriptions are on my credit card because, you know, when I think about it, it's like when my mom made a good point. She was like, "You're gonna have to get one anyway to get like a house and stuff like that, everything. So
exactly.
you might as well
You
use
need
it
history.
now and get it right and try to build your credit the way you can. Cause you like, you know, you already like you have a credit score. It's good. It's just like you might as well just go ahead and just make it better. So when you do apply for your house and stuff like that, you gonna be okay. So and when I think about things like that, like we put our scriptures on there, like one, even though I know I gotta pay it when it comes to the end of the month, it just takes a burden off of your chest because like, dang, all right, I ain't gotta worry about okay, this bill hitting today and another day and another day. It makes like your life easier because like now all my subscriptions are summed up into one big bill, and that one bill is coming on that one day versus me trying to figure out 4 or 5 or 6 different dates I
Different
got
cycles.
bills coming. I got one bill coming at the end of the month, and it's always coming. And like Discover. I have a Discover one. Discover is really great. Like they do the cash back and stuff. So like, you know, you build cash. So eventually, you know, as you keep paying your credit off, you know, you pay it on time, keep doing what you need to do. That cash back builds up, and then you know it can build like you know $20 or $50 or something. And then you cash that out. Man, okay, got a nice easy $50 payday, just paying your credit card on time. Like I was opposed to it at first. I was like, bro, I just was never cool with the fact of like, so I gotta owe money to make money. But you know,
But the and
the
then
quote is you got to spend money if you want to make money. So
it is some truth into that, and even going based off like, unfortunately, how this system is, because I'm sure how they needed to back in the day, because it's just one thing, you know, you go into the bank and shit, and or to wherever you trying to get a loan up or some startup money, you feel me? And it's like, and granted, you can have the best plan in the world, like you literally have the plan to make 1 million tomorrow, but because they don't know you like that, or they don't have any real history in terms of how long you can sustain a certain amount of dollars or be able to pay your bills on time and stuff, like all that is reflected on how you can't even like purchase that house or even get in the car or whatever. It's sad. I mean, I ultimately looking at it, yeah, it is stupid, but ultimately, well, it's a practice that you can show that yes, I do everything or I pay everything on time. I don't let bills like linger, whatever. Don't get hit with no late fees, and grateful and thankfully that my parents opened or put me or gave me a credit card or opened a credit card account when I was probably 17, I believe. So, and mind you, that I'm not touching it or doing nothing, but because those years are adding up until when I do decide to get a house or plan that, my credit is already, like you said, pretty decent. So you can, like I said, you can definitely finesse the system or manage it or properly plan with a good financial advisor, which is I can definitely plug some as well, but that'll be later on the episode. But yeah, man, it's like say it's a more so a tool if you change your mindset behind it, because but granted, like say you always still need to be responsible enough to know that you do got to pay that money back, or at least apply for one that you maybe don't. But yeah, it's definitely easy management, and also even going back to as far as accounts, which even made me even have to do better for myself, because back when those times were, or not back when those times, but when paying for those bills and you waiting, you thinking it's about to come out to check in on time or right away, and you think like, all right, I should have this amount left over, but because they damn near sometimes take almost two to almost a week to that shit to go through, and then you damn near spend more than what you thought you had. Or I mean, I know that was kind of my issue at the time. So I actually have probably about like 5 accounts at this point. So I got account with Wells Fargo, I got an account with One United. Shout out to them, Black Bank. And also I have an account with Alley Bank, which is like an online service, but they are, at least as of right now, have the highest percentage rate that you can get letting your money sit there, because banks ain't giving up no money no more, only by pennies of the dollar unless you got a couple M's. So but with Alley, they yeah, I think they're sitting on like point 0.5, if I'm not mistaken. So I mean, granted, if you
Yeah.
just letting your money sit somewhere and you wasn't planning on either building nothing anyway, then at least put it somewhere that's gonna grow or compound interest. If y'all don't know or don't take nothing away from this video, compound interest. I'm telling you, that's just literally everything that you saving up or as time goes by. You feel me? So and without even have to do nothing with it, but um ultimately the reasons why that I have so many is because of things like that I have an account that's strictly like for bills, or that I want to maneuver this way, and then so let me fire
Yeah.
up a little bit.
Um, we've been dabbling in it. Well, first of all, we've been talking about budgeting at the same time, talking about financial literacy. So we kind of killed two birds, and one stone, of course. So that's great. As we attacking everything like we want. But like to keep in line with why we're talking about banks, that leads me to the investment point. And since you talked about compound interest, my mom, another point she made me to like 2 years ago, because because father passed away, so you get inheritance like that when you turn 18, you get all that. And my mom was like, I want you to take $1,200 out, and I want you to put it in a certificate of deposit, a CD, if you will. A great tool of compound interest. And just that alone, um, in a year's time, because I said I'm gonna set it for a year just to see how you said set it for a year, see how it goes. And when that year comes up, you can see if you want to take it out or you want to keep it in. So did the 1,200. I come back a year later, it's 1,600. And like you telling me, and then look at and then the best thing is you got to understand interest rates, because interest rates are applied, I don't know, every month or every 2 weeks. I don't know how exactly they work.
It
But
depends on which one you invest with, because some do go by monthly or like quarterly or whatever. So
yeah,
like that's another thing. You definitely want to do your research and your homework on what you're investing in. You feel me? Because people
definitely.
would think like a CD is gonna move like a stock when it's not. That's one of the more safer options to when it comes to investing or using a tool for compound interest. Now what I'll say for those who want to take that as well, and for someone at your age, um, definitely don't be scared to take any like risk or to invest more aggressively. So the three main components: either you doing it aggressive, someone in the middle, moderate aggressively, or whatever, or more so conservative. Now the difference is, or what when you should be doing it is during your early younger years. So like as of like saying shoot, basically as soon as you're born until maybe you hit 20s, shoot, probably even closer in your mid 30s, where you can really just go gun ho and try to invest in all like penny stocks, wild, whatever. But of course, again, it's under your financial plan and what makes sense to you. But you at least have enough time to recover or bounce back from a loss or possible loss, or even or grow much faster than just more so having it sit in something that you will probably want to more so consider when you about to retire or whatever, because you don't want to take too many gambles or risk anything your fortune off of something that can crash tomorrow or whatever. Like you need something that's going to be like when this is
Steady.
probably around when you're 50 to your 60s or whatever, when you want to be more on the safer side of investing and having things that's go for show come back with a positive versus you know going in there crazy and shit. You feel me? So it's yeah,
It's a lot.
it's a lot. Like I say, because you got mutual funds, which is a vehicle that has multiple of stock. Well, even before even going into like those, like just understanding, CDs, bonds, like stocks, trading foreign exchange, like the difference from that. So as people should know already, stocks is basically in simplest terms like a vote and a voting percentage and an actual piece of the company as far as that. So when they make money, you make money.
You make money.
You feel me? So, and as far as like what you'll need to really do your homework on, if you weren't really want to get in as far as stocks, like who's the CEO, like what industry are they in, like who's their competitors, like all that plays an effect on where that company will be in the next 5 to 10 years or even like tomorrow, whatever, because it can fluctuate from just even somebody being in it on Bloomberg or somewhere and thinking that, TJ just took over the company of Nike, but he's only had experience within this space for a little over a couple of months. And depending on who says that can determine on how your day is going to look. Now, of course, people will always, not always, or they pretty much try to invest all based off of emotion too, which that's a instant no. You really got to think logical and more so for the long term. Because I used to get caught doing that myself and should still do to a certain extent because back when my college days, I actually had a couple of stocks in Sony, and this was when it was $12 now, mind you. This was in 2013, and I'm thinking that it was gonna be like instantaneously how fast it's gonna grow. Like, oh, all right, this 12 is gonna instantly turn like to damn near $30 by like maybe in a couple of months or so. But because me being impatient and not really looking at the long-term stash or long-term path, that I ended up selling them. And now if you look today, it's damn near almost at $100. So it's really going through or having that time and that patience too when it comes to investing as well, because and granted, you can still trade in a way to where you can still hold your assets and not be affected by a crash or whatever. But ultimately, like I said, would be if you're doing it at a younger age to where you can bounce back or don't have to worry about all that. Telling you by year 5, year 10, you probably quadruple your money if you doing it right, or if you put it in the right place. So yes, please, people, just take your time, do your research, and go for the long haul, and or really be firm on your plan. Like I would like just like how you said earlier, like I want to stick with this CD for like a year, see how it looks, and then if depending on the return is, I either keep it or I'll put it in something else. So
yeah, I might, cause like now that I kind of like it the way it's going for that, I'm like I might do it at my other bank too. Be like, you know what, throw $100 in there. Let's just let it sit there, cause like it is a fee to take the money out. But let's say you have an emergency, if it's not if you're taking, like, let's say I put that $100 in and it's like $1,000 like 2-3 years from now, and the fee is like $300. I'm like, well,
what's the purpose?
technically it's not my money. It's more than what I had to do. So actually, I made more. I made my money. I made more. I made money, and I just took a little bit out to take it out immediately because it was an emergency because I had to take it out. But like technically, I didn't spend my original money, and that's the whole bonus when it comes to like investing in things of that nature. Like when you invest, like JD said, you got to be in it for the long term. Like if you're not spending your original money, then you're doing the right thing. You're in the right like foreground. You're doing the right things because that means your money is compounding, it's building, so that you're not spending your own money to do it. And like things like me and him both being podcasts, we aren't concerned with views and things of that nature and just trying to talk and just trying to be popular. We want to actually deliver great content and things like that. But obviously that's in the background of our minds, of course, because like, we spend a lot of time doing what we do. So like, why is it not nice to get paid for it? So, things like that. So, when we work on those subscribers and things like that, that's what we try to do. Cause in the background, we want to get there. So it's like, we doing our thing here, but we getting paid for it too. So it's like a double incentive to keep going where we going with. And that's like, that's real, and that's real, and that's real, and that's like, it's like real great. So like, and I try to tell people like, when it comes to like marketing and business marketing and things like that for like the podcast, like for me, I'm on all social media platforms. I'm trying to get with it. So Instagram, obviously, because that's the easiest one to go to. I got a Twitter. Twitter is kind of hard for because you gotta be active to get followers, and it's hard to tweet like you're doing your personal account. It's not the same kind of tweet. You gotta have some kind of restricted. You can't just be saying what you're saying your personal on your pod, because it's like you gotta find that balance. I'm still trying to find that balance. And once I find that balance, my Twitter for the podcast will just elevate. So I'm starting to learn how to use TikTok effectively now. Finally got that down. Likes is the wave, man. If you get like a couple of likes, it can get to more people, and the views is going good. So like for the TikTok joint on the podcast right now, I think for both, because I got 2 separate hashtags, and it tells you how many views you get on those hashtags. I think I want to say I'm over 3,000 views on both the hashtags separately. So, and then I got 11.
Sound like I need to get on TikTok now.
It's a real like one. You have to understand the algorithm and how it works, but the algorithm, that's a lot of fancy stuff, but low key, it's very simple. When you post a video, it gets pushed out to like a small little group of people on what they call the For You page, or Instagram has Explore. It gets pushed out to that. And it's based on interaction at that point. If somebody shares your video, comments on your video, or likes your video, it gets pushed out to another set of people, and then another set of people. So every time you get a like or share, anything like that, it keeps getting pushed out and pushed out and pushed out to more and more and more and more and more people, bringing more and more traffic to your page, long story short. And the best thing about it is it's built for like the attention span, being that a lot of people don't like sitting here and like, for instance, they're not going to sit here and hear us talk for 30 minutes. They're not going to sit. That's why I break it up into chapters, like with the timestamps we do. Break it up into chapters so people can be like, all right, I want to know about this instantly. Bang, I can go right here. Learn about it right now. That way I ain't got to sit here through a whole 45-minute episode trying to figure out, okay, when they going to get to this point. Finally, none. Go straight into chapters. So like in the 60 and 15 seconds, you can do stitches. I'm starting to learn it. I'm really getting into it. I'm getting my personal. I did it personally at first. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to stitch videos till I learn it. And I learned how to edit with the tools, the green screens, and all of them. Kind of really learning it. I'm starting like, okay, I'm really getting it. Like my last preview I just did, it got 500 views. That's the most I ever got on this thing. I got 500 views on that, and I got like 3 followers out of it too. So I was like,
yeah, all right, so doing some good out of it. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So I'm on all social media. I'm on all social media platforms because I'm trying to bolster it, because like obviously when I get guests like yourself, others, it's gonna get out there, but why not promote it faster? And then when you use hashtags and other things like that, it's like it finds more people. Like it's this one company that does like shout outs. And if I didn't use hashtags and stuff like that, I would never have found that company. So now when I get my money right, of course, I'm gonna go back and like, all right, cause like it's like $30 or $35 to get a forever post and a story. Nothing too crazy. It's like, okay, I'm putting $35 into it, but I'm already paying $15 a month for the Zooms, and I'm paying like I use Buzzsprout, so I pay $18 for a month for that. So like I'm already paying for it, and it's a one-time expense. But that one-time expense, he got that little social media company got like, don't want to say 2 million people, 3 million followers. So it's like, I get a forever post. Anytime somebody comes back to that joint, they're gonna see that post or a story. Hundreds and hundreds of people see
just how you looking at that. That's how people need to look at their finances like that. Really,
exactly.
The bigger picture, because we tend to find money on things we want, but tend to lose track or think it's too much when it's things that we need. Now, granted,
Uh,
sometimes some things that we need may be more out of pocket. But if you tending to buy little things here and there, like ultimately you could have paid that same amount within that time frame by all those little purchases from or you can say gifts, if you will, to like say just being patient
don't
and
pay for
putting
those.
it to the side and bam, you just getting out of the way. But yeah, even kind of going back to or wrapping around back with podcasting, it's hella different ways that you can
Go
go
crazy.
about doing one. So I know for you, I've seen you using definitely getting the Zoom and you know, operating through the laptop. So you don't necessarily have to worry about the mic or a video camera because you got two in one right there. But some like myself want to
Actually, I'm on the phone. I'm not on a
oh well
laptop.
shoot, even better. Like I'm saying, like there's so different ways that where you can at least at the right now be able to make content or get your stuff out there versus I know for myself because I got four other partners with me that's on the podcast as well and I knew just based off of a phone or maybe going through a laptop it may have not been as productive or maybe as clean when it comes to like different people's mannerisms or how they speak up on the mic or whatever. So it's like you gotta kind of put that into the plan and be honest and like really like put in that investment and even going back with like just proper budgeting, you know, because like I said, even with me having those multiple accounts that so I have this, you know, my main job coming out this account, but I have it 80% going to one Wells Fargo and then the other 20 to one United. And that 20% is like me paying myself because we tend to basically slave over our bills. And I got that strategy from my good partner, Mr. Bill Wealth, Jasper Smith, a financial he calls himself a financial guru or concierge, you feel me? So he definitely helps people or businesses get to where they need to be. So and when he had said that, I you know took heed of that because it's like, damn, I really, you know, granted I am getting paid, but like, do I really put aside enough to where like I can really have fun, like say, or have those enough enough dollars to where I can at least buy a shirt without feeling bad or digging into like the bills account. So and even like say with the alley account, I like say just use that. So while technically still have money that either I'm ready to use for investing or just have it to save for any emergencies, which should be a range from 3 to 6 months because we all, you know, especially how this pandemic hit us, you feel me? A lot of people was out of work. So and those people who were living check to check don't know how they go be able to make it this much or you know, got how the, the country's been going with delays on getting they unemployment or even trying to get the PPP loan, whatever. So it's like you gotta really think like, all right, if I was to stop working today, or if I was to be hurt today, how will the bills be paid? So whether it's that you putting away for enough money for an emergency fund or getting like disability insurance, you feel me, which ultimately will pay while you're injured, of course, you know. So just looking at that because I literally been through that when I had ruptured my Achilles, you know, back in 2016, and I couldn't do my actual job because it required me being on my feet. So I was basically down for like almost 2-3 months, and by during that time, I mean, thankfully that I had saved enough to where I was still putting aside, but because I ain't have shit like a disability policy that you know I had to basically use my own funds or the funds that I ultimately plan on saving for worst case scenarios. But yeah, man, like I said, it all ties in together. You feel me? When it comes to financial literacy, like you can use these same methods within different spaces, just like say with podcasting or any avenue that you like. Say even shit, if you damn near farming or something, you know, like you gotta you gotta have your crops that's gonna be able to be ready 2-3 months from now, or you know it's gonna be that one that's gonna take longer than that. So you just gotta water those plants and be consistent with it, you know.
Yeah, the biggest thing, like you said, is like, budgeting and investing financial, those are just terms, but really the term that encapsulates or the quote I could say is basically like always focus on the bigger picture. Always focus on it. Obviously, what's in front of you seems like a lot at first. Like, and I'm gonna use pocket because this is just a prime example that I have that I always do. Like at first, it's like when you first start posting, like, okay, what are we gonna talk about? Guests, episode releases, all this extra stuff going on in front of you. But if
Mm-hmm.
you always look at like, okay, the little things are always going to be annoying. Scheduling and getting people on and all these great things, there's always going to be a problem with that. But if you look at the bigger picture, like, if you just do it, you put the work in, the fruit of your labor is going to come back to you. It's going to come back to you. And then it's like with this investing, like, for instance, like I just started with my friends, I'm always been ready to like invest and like start to build something back home, of course, because farmville always needs a couple of additions. So, you know, instead of saying like, okay, let's all try to save up individually a big sum of money and just go throw it at a property. I brought up an idea. I was like, all right, so we should do it like this. We gonna open a bank account, saving account, deposit only savings account in all of our names, and then like, all right, with our regular jobs or whatever we accumulate over a month of us working, however we accumulate our funds, whatever percent we'll set a certain percentage and we'll be like, all right, we're gonna put that in the saving account, and then the rest of it you do what you gotta do. But like that way it covers our backside. So like, okay, we ain't throwing all our eggs in one basket with all the basket, we're just throwing our money in the bank and just trying to buy a property. We building our money up. So like as we build our money up, we can see like, okay, what do we want to invest into? What do we really want to put this money towards? It gives us more time to think about it while we still building our bread together. So like it's really just a bigger picture thing, man. Like if you always have the bigger picture in mind, the finances and the financial literacy and how to build wealth, as we will talk about in a little bit, it becomes very, very simple.
No, yeah, I overstand, completely agree because and one thing that you definitely want to make sure that you do have in your corner that's people who also have that same vision or understand that this is a long term thing because some of us may have or bring in some good friends, family members, whatever, how close they are to you, but they may not be as passionate or maybe a little more trigger happy when it comes to how fast they want their investment or they return to come back. So as long as you got people in your corner that's really in it on one accord and looking at the long term aspect, and yeah, and putting like I say it's five I'm have business partners with total five of us. So if five of us each put together 100 a month or whatever, you feel me? Like I say, which is 500 coming in each month, times that by 12. What's that? Shoot, hold on. Sorry, y'all. I'm not the my mind be a little blank sometimes doing
You
the
said 500 times 12?
mm-hmm. That's 6 bands, you feel me? For a year now, you put an extra zero, say 5,000. Now granted, that may sound
Huge.
expensive, you feel me, depending on where everyone life is, you feel me. But another thing I took from my guy, Mr. Bill Wealth, is to work until expensive is cheap. So take that as you will, because I mean it's certain things like how it's like you may not be able to afford that right now, but if that's something that you truly want or seeking to obtain, then you're gonna find some ways to really cut down. Or just like I say, we do it every with shit that we want instantaneously, like shit how them PS5s was going, like people knew that you can, you made take some time to or do whatever you can to get it online, but somebody then found the plug, but they selling it for $300 more than what the original price is. So it's like, are you go bite that bullet and take it because it's hard to find, or you just go be patient and be like, look, I know what it's worth and I know what I got right now, and I'm gonna just do that. So it's like I say, it's all it's
The bigger
in your
picture.
mental and what in being honest and being patient and discipline. I'm telling you.
Discipline and always looking towards the future is how you can learn how to like understand all these tools when it comes to finances. And it's just so much. Like, you gotta have that ambition. You gotta have that ambition to be like, yo, I want to learn it, and I'm willing to set some time aside to spend some time and learn it. Like, now that I've kind of got the social media and learning how to get myself out there and how hashtags and all the other things work and all the avenues creates, when I started looking towards my actual job, like I want to be a personal trainer, I'll learn how to bring in clientele and things, not just talk to people that's in my circle. I'll be able to stretch it even further because it's just like, all right, I know how the social media works. I know how to market on social media now. Now I can use that to further my business. Therefore, not only getting myself out there, but in a short but long term way, it's gonna make me a lot of money because that means, all right, a lot of people gonna be like, okay, oh, he knows what he's talking about. He seems very occasional. I like his plans, I like his workouts. Okay, hey, how about you write me a plan, man? How does these plans work? How much they cost? Things like that. It like the small things are nothing compared to the larger things. That's the biggest thing people gotta understand. The small things are nothing compared to the larger things. The little tic tac knick knack things, man. Let those petties go. Let those adversities go.
And don't be afraid to mimic anybody's strategy. You feel me? Like this, if anything, this is probably especially when it comes to investing or
It's free
financial,
game.
like that's almost applauded. Like people, all the like, if people had or was able to invest in like a Bill Gates or Warren Buffett portfolio, they would, because it's like shoot, they
What?
you
Bill Gates built
you
Microsoft out of his college dorm room.
So it's like you gotta I mean, there's no, you don't have to always try to invent something or always be the first to do something like, unique or extravagant. Like, there's rules in place or strategies that set up to where like people are still following from back probably in the 1800s or before. But I mean, granted, now of course things adapt and change, and like, shit like the dollar used to be worth something, but now you got currencies such as like crypto coming in, of course. Now it's people are well in invested or believing it now, but when things like that are coming or uh unexpectedly, or just that new thing, is like, of course there's always going to be resistance behind it. But if you kind of look at it in the grand scheme of things, it's like, shit, who really carries money nowadays, like really physical dollars? I mean, unless you like a rapper or somebody, or just can't get no business or bank account, whatever. But ultimately, as far as like your real big dollars, like they all are online. So or basically in the system or in the internet. So when you hear things like a crypto or exchanges like that, it granted it's hard because you don't know what's it backed upon. You feel me? Because with dollars you can shit gets printed, but because the more that it gets printed, the less valuable it is. So like, but because
Inflation.
it and but like I said, getting to the crypto space, it's like that's is a whole nother beast within itself, which I'm still learning myself, but ultimately it's gonna be
Another
today's
tool.
norm, like you're gonna see a lot more of Bitcoin or something along those lines of an ATM. You're going to be able to purchase way more stuff with a Bitcoin or cryptocurrency for that matter. So it's like, and shit, you can even see banks and everything now are being open or using their own cryptocurrency or making their own coin. So it's like you use, if you are paying attention, you should see the
The
play
world is changing.
going. So it's like either you want to get with the program or you're gonna be far behind, thinking that where your where your retirement funds was gonna set you off, or you thought you just needed like maybe a little over $500,000 or maybe $1 million to be cool, when shit you probably end up spending that or that dinner be going within your first 3-5 years in retirement if you just spending it just on some whatever. And then as you get older, you got nieces, nephews, or people that like, oh, can birthday shit coming up, gifts, whatever, like you. And you like said, you retired, so you like you worked as far to do whatever you want, go on trips or whatever. But if you didn't set aside of the compounds, or even what's actually the real term, inflation. Because just like how you always hear back in the days when it was like, oh, I remember a dollar used to get me X amount, well, all these items, but now shit, a dollar
Yeah,
ain't about to give you barely can get you a happy meal, nigga. So it's, man, listen.
a pack of gum at the store, for real.
No, that is the gum, and it's only probably go give you four, and they go want 25 cents on top of that dollar. So it's like,
Right. So it's not worth anything anymore. And the world's already going to that way, like chip cards, like everybody, like, bro, I don't remember the last time, like, I took out like cash out of the ATM. I had to sit there and think, like, bro, when was the last time I took out cash for an ATM? Like, everything is so card based now. Like, I pay by card for like everything, like my barber card, clothes card. Like, I stopped going to one bar because he was like, man, you gotta start paying in cash, man. I get my money 3 days later. I'm like, oh, I was like, all right, I'll go to somebody else that's cool with card, because like, bro, like it's so like, bro, like cash is just a thing of the past. Literally, like, bro, nobody is out here literally carrying cash in their wallets. Like, the only people I know is carrying cash in our wallets is your dad and his people of his age. Like, my mama don't even carry cash in her wallet, bro. Like, everything is just so computerized now. Like, chip cards. Now we even getting tapped, so you just tap it out, paid.
Nah, I feel it though, but
NPR readers, like, like, everything is electronic, bro. Like, that's why I like everything is changing. Like, cryptocurrency, I'm not into it now because, one, I don't know anything about it. I haven't really looked into it yet because I'm just still trying to get the whole like passive investing in things that first. I got to understand the building blocks of investing before I just go throwing my money and everything because Twitter said, oh, it's hot. No, you don't want that. You don't want to do that. Because then that's not investing. That's just wasting money. And it's a fine line when it comes to that. But we didn't hit on all the budgeting and investing and financial literacy. But let's go ahead and take it to the next step. We mentioned stocks earlier. We talked about it a little bit. Didn't get really too in depth with it. But when it comes to like, stocks, like long term, like JD said earlier, bigger picture, because like he said, with that Sony stock, it's $12 now. It's $100. It's $12 in 2013. It's $100 now. So like that's an extra $88 long term that you could have had. And
if I had multiple shares of that $12,
be
man, listen,
going crazy.
I'll probably be talking to in a different environment right now, but hey, that's just one of those things as an investor that
Live and learn.
take on the chin or learn from, because there's always going to be a new company or something that's hot that may not be something people are speaking about or looking into right away, but once it's in the masses or up there, then shit, you can be like a whole nother GameStop, you feel me? And like how that rally went. But yeah, just kind of going about what the pros and cons of investing. Again, kind of going back what I said earlier, like you should invest with your feelings Like you really have like there's literally a formula that you can or that I feel as though everyone should use when they're doing it, and it's referred to as asset of allocation. So what that looks like is so some people use 100 to start it off. My professor taught me to use 110 because and that number is based on the life expendence, not life, but your length of your money. Because again, going back to retirement or when you do want to retire, that
Hey, can I
ultimately.
stop you? Can I stop you real quick? You froze.
Oh,
So nah, you're good now. But
okay,
you
okay.
froze. So you was talking about your formula. If you mind starting that back from the top or trying to summarize what you already
Oh
did.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No problem, no problem. So yeah, the formula I was referring to is called asset of allocation. Now, typically some people use or start off with 100, but my professor told me to use 110, which ultimately is the life expectancy of your money. So, because again, going back to retirement, that once you retire, whatever you have is literally what you have. So, and if you don't still have other streams of income coming in as you're retiring, then you ultimately, if you just got 500,000 in the bank, then that's all you got. And if that dries up, long or summarizing everything, people live longer than what they actually. So you thinking that you gonna be set or like say not looking into inflation when things only cost but so much, but that 500,000 ain't gonna be the same in 2050. So back as a matter of fact, I can get like a little quick board and try to write it
If you
down.
move
Is
your
it
mic to
backwards
the
on your end or
nah, it's just clean. It's clean. It's clean. I can see
uh,
it. Area 510 asset allocation. You just
right?
gotta keep it right there and just go up because that's where the
All right,
light the
cool.
light's not reflecting off it.
Cool, perfect, perfect. So again, this is basically what the formula starts off at, and again, that 110 represents how long you want your money to last. Because again, as we see people outliving their retirement funds and shit, you probably seeing somebody's grandma, grandpa up in that CVS still working. You feel me? Trying to make ends meet because shit, they ain't put enough away to make sure that they were secure or did the right thing. So this is one of the ways you can do it. And now that 30, it lives that I'm using me an example. So I'm just hit 30, you feel me? So I'm subtracting that 110 with my age. So at 30, so that goes down to 80. Now with that 80, I should be investing 80% amount of in the stock market, you feel me? Which is why I said earlier that if you start younger, that you'll have more of a chance to, do actually more riskier option investing, which where you can get a return faster versus doing something a little more conservative like a CD or a bond or something that's only gonna, give you a certain amount of dollars every like 1 or possibly 3, 5 years, whichever one you use. Now the thing about going now, we kind of work backwards because we want to go to 100% of what we're using. So now with that 80, I'm gonna add 10% or yeah, add it back up with 10, which that number ultimately will be how much you should invest in like mutual funds or like bonds or like something that's like say a little more on the conservative side, but but you don't want to necessarily put all your eggs in there because again you at a time where you can take more a little more of a risk, you feel me? So it then now set you back into 90. Now this could change or like say you can use whatever 5% or how you wanted to reach. But for me, I would say you can either use this in crypto, but I also say maybe put it in more like an in like an insurance policy or shoot, what else? Dang, I thought I had it written down, but I'll have more of a list for TJ for the descriptions as well. But again, that's you rounding it back up to you get into that 100. So after that 5, you can get that 95, and that 5% you should hold in cash, because you always go have some type of emergencies going, you feel me, or something that you're gonna need on hand, you feel me, because you don't want to put literally everything that you're investing or that you want to use for investing to be in the market, and then you'll, like how TJ said, be hit those penalties when you try to withdraw too soon, or trying to take
Yeah.
out. So you definitely want to at least have, whether that is online or physical, because let's say, even worst case scenario, that if everything electronic was to like mess around and crashed, and I mean, you at least have something on hand physically, at least for that matter, to be able to use for, like, getting groceries or whatever necessities you need, if something like that were to go down. But let's pray that we're in a society that it doesn't do that. So, or well, I won't say it doesn't do that, but at least in a lifetime that it won't happen with us. So, but I mean, with the gas thing going on right now, it's not
You might
necessarily
want to start
right.
make. You might want to.
So please do this wisely, and as you can see, you right back to 100. So now, how does that ultimately look again? So if I got, just base it off now, mind you, it is you do have to pay to play, because sure, there are platforms, or yeah, platforms that you can like buy, or yeah, you can buy into a stock with, like, literally with just like $1, or like, smalls amount like that. But if you get into more of the more mainstream platforms, like a Fidelity or like an E-Trade for that matter, they're going to basically expect for you to pay whichever whole amount of that share is. So let's just say, for instance, we got 2,000 to spend or whatever. So out of that 2,000, going back to the first top, with after you subtracted that 110 based off your age. So if you was 10, so in this case, if your child or you just a baby or whatever, then that means you can literally do whatever at this point, because like shit, they ain't even young enough or old enough to understand what's going on. So you can, but as well, if you also want them to get in or want them to go to college or something like that, there are funds like a 529 that it's more educational based, because you can use that for them paying for that as well, which also builds money over time, you feel me, versus just having to put into a savings account. But again, I'm not your financial advisor, and and nor am I telling you to invest into that specifically, because I don't want you to investing in some shit and thinking, or you lose some money, you be mad at me or TJ. So nah,
Yeah,
disclaimer.
no, we don't want that. Go to your accountant, please. We are just hoping, trying to give what we know, because knowledge is free game, man, and knowledge is power, and knowledge always helps everybody succeed at the end of the day.
Indubitably. Now, yeah, so with that 2,000, I'm gonna take that 80 that I got from my age, and you feel me? So point eight times, all right. And that's another thing too, y'all. Have you a little financial calculator too, you feel me? Because I mean, I know some of us are maybe better in math than others, you feel me? But you know, got to be prepared.
Check out the calculator. Arithmetic is not the easiest of things.
So 1,600 is what you should be investing in, you feel me? Or the amount of
Hmm.
dollars out of that 2,000 that you should use in investing.
Okay.
Now, also when it comes to actually buying the stock, what at least I was taught to use is to only put in 7% of what or in whatever of that 1,600. So that way you're using that phrase, putting all your eggs in one basket, or investing in too much of it in one company. You feel me? It's like 7 is basically more so the safe number, if you will. So it's, you know, pretty interesting and practice. And I'll just even go ahead in terms of like I use that same strategy in this app that I use called Stock Trainer, which basically you can project or do a simulation, if you will, on like investments or whatever. So like or trading stocks. So and I did this in or started this in 2019, like and said that like if I had 20,000 to invest right now, and at that time 2018, so I was 28. So out of that 20,000, where would I be as of today? So as of now, I'm 36.58% up. And I literally not only made my money back from projected my money back, but I also now am over 7 bands basically. And I can show y'all right here. I don't know if y'all can
Okay, stock trainer. There's another app for you all. So we got two apps. We got the Gas Buddy and Stock Trainer, man. So
yeah,
you
man.
know,
And it's funny too, because like, you just, and this is literally me just not doing anything as far as like trading or like selling or anything like that. Like literally just buying the stocks that I was familiar with or consumer, which another thing that if you are going to invest, at least invest into a company that you can have some type of understanding that how they will make or how they will lose money, because you know everybody tries to find that next GameStop or that next hot thing that they may not even understand the whole industry. Like, mind you, I don't know nothing about um like oil or things that have to do as far as like um physical labor, if you will, like or even more so like shit like gold or silver, copper, all that stuff, you feel me? Like, although that is things that you should also entertain as well, because a lot of things, especially like copper, has been going up, which
another
surprisingly,
two.
because niggas was losing or there was a shortage on the coins for a little bit. So it's like things like that. But honestly, yeah, man, it's definitely ways or tools that you can use to kind of do some hypotheticals or really get a grasp to understand like what you should do as far as investing wise, because especially nowadays, I've this probably the last 2 years has probably been the most I've actually had. Even my parents are starting to ask me more like, hey, how do you feel about like Robinhood, or like, hey, what should I invest in? And it's like, first of all, do you even know what a stock is, or even like understanding the basis behind that? And most of the time it's usually no. So I'll throw in another app. It's called My Learn, which it used to be something else, but it's like Learn Wall Street, whatever. Which basically it's or it's actually just called Learn by Wall Street. My bad, Learn by Wall Street. So you should be able to
Learn by Wall Street. So Push Buddy, Stock Trainer, Learn by Wall
Gas
Street.
Buddy, Stock Trainer, and Learn by Wall Street. So and all of them should be
Three
good.
apps, three things you take away. Those apps, the asset of allocation formula, and anything else you found important. Those four things. Oh, and the bigger picture. All right. Five things you got. That's your five. Fast five right there for you.
Yeah, and because with the Learn app, it literally goes off it's like a like this new shit like Babbel or some type of app that trains you or guides you as you go. Like literally goes down the basis like why, like what is this stock? Why should you have buy into stocks, or even like understanding like financial goals and things of that nature. You feel me? In different levels to where you get to like the basic, the intermediate, and then advanced context of it as well too. So you'll get to actually grow and like learn, like even when you starting businesses and like or starting a business, and understand the difference from like a LLC versus nonprofit, or understand how to balance, use like a balance sheet, or doing taxes for that matter, which everybody should be. I mean, granted, you there's only so much a person can endure within themselves, so you should at least look for someone who is definitely a professional and has a tenure of people who are enough satisfied clients that they tend to go back to. So just use that as you may, but definitely you want to reach out to a financial advisor to help you picture out your whole plan, because it could be things that even for myself or TJ didn't bring up, or even for yourself that you're thinking like, damn, I ain't think about it that way, or I forgot to look at that aspect, because we tend to always focus on the now versus things like a life insurance policy, you feel me, because we don't know when our time is, and especially as a black or African descent in this country, you feel me? So you can be gone just by either in your room, or being at your home, or just going down the street trying to buy some candy, bro. So just having that safety tool, but then again, if I also want to be fair too, like life insurance wasn't always the sexiest thing back in the day, because it was people back with our parents or our grandparents who did buy policies and they got the short end of the stick or didn't get nothing back from it, you feel me? So you definitely want to make sure whatever institution that you are buying your insurance or your policy from, that it's reputable and they have a record of giving back to their clients too. So I
Okay.
my
Okay.
I have a Northwestern Mutual. I got something through my job as well too, but like I say again, there's definitely um other companies that you can look into, or even smaller um more small businesses that do also offer those plans as well.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. There y'all go right there. Y'all kind of got what y'all should do with your money, how y'all should use your stock. Got a couple of more apps that can help y'all to get better at your stocks. And, like I said, knowledge is power. It's good. Get the free game in. Uh, I wish there was more time where we could always allocate more on these things, but we don't want to keep y'all for too long. So we might as well get to the last thing here, and that is generational wealth. So we've kind of talked about it the entire time, really, about how if you invest now, you can do stuff for your kids later, your nieces, nephews, little cousins, whoever may come across your timeline, because someone's always born every day. So, you could learn about these things. And, obviously the most important thing about generational wealth is like, not only will you be good, but your family will be good. Your friends will be good. Like everybody will always be okay, no matter what you do. And like, if you become literate in these tools that we have mentioned countless times throughout these episodes, may it be credit cards, may it be savings, bonds, stocks, whatever else you may do, um, it's all things you can learn to help your children learn. Like, okay, all right, this is the mistakes I made. Now I don't want you to make these mistakes. Now you got this, and then now, we not work now. It's not the whole family working on a fast food joint. Oh, it's a bunch of Jay-Z's or Oprah Winfrey's walking around here now. So we all got, we all big ballers now. We ain't just working at a fast food joint just to try to make money just to get by, sacrificing hours for money. Where we can just be like Jay-Z, Oprah Winfrey out here, do a talk show, all right, once, twice a week, and then be like, all right, there we go. We good. All right. Still getting your good money in, but all the streams from them endorsements, as Jay-Z does endorsements and all the other things he does.
Other people's money.
Yep. Other people's money, man. Use other people's money to make your money. Legally, of course. Legally. Do not get in no pyramid schemes. Do not do anything else. Piracy, all of that. Do not do anything else that gets you in trouble. We giving you legal ways to be great. So use that, use that safely, accordingly, and most importantly, intelligently.
No,
Um,
absolutely,
but
absolutely.
JD, want to talk about this episode? What are the necessary steps to build generational wealth, my guy?
Again, kind of what I touched back earlier in the beginning of the episode was you gotta be selfless. You feel me? Because everything that you're doing now, whether you believe or look into it, not someone is being affected by those decisions. So if you always going out and you know, buying everybody drinks at the bar or something, going out to eat, and when you could have put that aside, maybe having a little more kickback at the house or something, or buying groceries. Now you have the tools or more so resources to be able to invest in something that's going to be server purpose for later long down the road. Now, obviously, of course, not everybody has that type of vision or that mindset, because it is like it gets lonely to a degree, because especially if you're the first person in your family that happens to or even has the chance to break that type of curse or get into that space, like it can be very well you know um a struggle in the beginning, because like I say, you seeing everybody kind of do what they want, or going all these trips, but they barely got down to their name, or barely having the way to really have fun, or have the funds to do everything that they probably see them doing. But like you should always see guys wearing all these designers, or Gucci belts, fucking Fendi's, whatever, Balenciagas, all them types of stuff. But like if you just put in that same effort into something that's gonna gain compound of interest, or build over time, then not only would your family be able to eat, but like your next 2, 3 families from now will be able to eat off a decision that you made today, which I believe is like the most powerful thing to do, which is why I emphasize definitely when in terms of like getting like a life insurance policy now, at least as of today, which you can at least get something back if you were to be to be gone, or one other way that you can leave them off something versus whatever you had in your bank account at the time. You feel me? Because granted that helps, but funerals ain't cheap. You feel me? So,
Hell
and
no, yeah, no.
some people, I personally want to go out cremated. You feel me? But I also, and I by this episode, I will already have my will set out in terms of like how I want everything to go, who gets what, all that. So that way ain't nobody arguing or thinking what I want them, or what they would think I would want them to have. It's like, no, I'm gonna have it straight, like, no, this goes to him or this goes to them, and so on and so forth. And even just understanding the power, the buying power that we have as a culture, or you just even as African descent in America, you feel me? Because we now we're starting to champion more so supporting black businesses, and understanding how like how our dollar doesn't even stay within our community longer, like barely over a couple of minutes or even an hour or so, But when you hear other ethnic groups like the Asian community or Hispanic community, like their dollar circulates with them like at least a couple of weeks or damn near, couple of days before they decide to venture out, because they understand that, or they have that discipline to you know, work within themselves or work together to build up something, so they can have other communities, or have these spaces to where they can, you know, feed or help those that look like them, because we typically get hemmed up, or what I used to see that, all it takes for one black business you go to and they mess up your order one time, and then like, oh, this why I don't mess with black folks. But mind you, you over there
Yeah,
going to
nah,
make
that's not good. That's not good for the culture, man. We can't. Y'all can't be out here doing that because McDonald's messes up your orders just as many
Bruh, every
times
time
as
Popeyes and mix your spicy with a non-spicy, or you feel me, or they
you
ran
keep
out of
going
chicken,
back, don't you?
but
People
keep
make
going back like
mistakes.
ain't
We
nothing
aren't
wrong.
perfect. Margin of error is a thing, bro. Do not stop supporting your own community businesses or other business that you like support just because you want to support just because they mess something up. It happens. It is what it is. As long as nothing important.
Yeah.
The only thing that's unforgivable in my world is barbering. Somebody mess up the hairline, obviously. That's all. It's
I
done.
feel
That's
you.
the only profession in the world where you got one chance. And if you mess up, no matter how long I've been going to you, you're gonna have to, cut it where it is. Like, all right, bro. Yeah.
Nah, I feel you. I feel you. And like say, even going back with the businesses, like we like I said, we in order for us to get into like a Popeye status, or like or some like more so those bigger companies, that we gotta be patient, or even be able to take constructive criticism. Now it's different from just writing a bad review saying like, oh, I ain't like how they cooked their greens, or I don't like how they did, or their customer service was whack or whatever. But really, like, especially if you want this particular business to thrive, really like chop it up with the owner too, you feel me? Or understand like where they coming from, because they really working off of their own dollars, you feel me, back, kind of, or their own credit line, and just, trying to build up so that way they can venture out and have more shops, or different place spots to where you can get they same product. But if you are, you know, but even as a owner as well, that you have to be open to taking that criticism as well, because sometimes some people do be on a high horse and feel like they don't need to attend to what the people's needs, or kind of just take it one ear and out the other. But it's like, if you especially go be in the community and say you with them, then sometimes I mean, it may hurt to hear the truth sometimes, but I mean, if that's gonna save you a couple thousand, or even make you more thousand, then why not try to take heed of that, so just
Yeah.
prepare and be honest with yourself. And that's I feel as though, especially with the financial literacy piece, that we don't take heed, or be mindful of the psychological part of it as well, because you would think everybody should have somewhat of a planner, or someone that they can confide into about maybe their spending habits, or maybe where they can see themselves in the next 5-10 years from now. But a lot of people aren't open to do that, because one, they go feel like they either pocket watching, or mainly they don't want to be told what they should do with their money or with their funds, especially if they felt like as though they worked hard for it. And granted, if they wanted, if some of their vices is, they do want to go to the bar or whatever, or still, do whatever their some of their guilty pleasures, they go and do that. But they also have to be honest that if it's what they're doing right now gonna put them in the position where they want to be later down the line, and that's honestly up for them to really be honest in doing that. Because I've definitely heard shit. I remember when I was in the or really knee deep in the financial service industry, where I was selling life insurance, and mind you, a tool that you would think everybody would want, but also understanding that not everybody can afford it, or nobody wants to have that type of conversation, to where like, dang, what do you mean like they won't be able to have this until like I die? Which again, there is different versions or different type of policies that you can invest in, that you can actually use right now, which is like a whole life policy, which is kind of like a somewhat like a mutual fund, if you will, but like, or more so maybe like a CD or a bond somewhat, but it actually accumulates money over time. So instead of you waiting until like you die and somebody else getting that money, but you can also be spending what you put away through that policy as well. But then what ultimately some people do pay for, which is the cheapest one, which is a term policy. And that's kind of more so off used for like a defensive approach. So like whatever number or however the payout is, that's exactly what it's going to be. So if you buy like a policy for like 500,000, then that's ultimately where it's always going to stay at. But it's going to cost more to keep it over time because of maybe at that time you had got it, you were at a younger age, or you were a little more healthier, which again, it can get deep in terms of like what you need to do. But ultimately though, just be honest with yourself. Really, like I say, you gotta be selfless and just like say and strategize for your next lineage, and not just for yourself. So
Well, you heard it. You all heard it right there first. Steps to creating that generational wealth. You want to create for the next. You want to create for the next lane. Accept constructive criticism. I know a lot of people is like, bro, I'm not trying to hear people talk down, but like,
mhm.
honestly, somebody's gotta be honest with you so you know what you gotta do better. As being a personal trainer in the future, like I wouldn't mind a client come to me, hey, I like the workout overall, but I feel like the ab workout is a little too hard. It's a little rough. Like it's good, but it's still a little too hard. The stretching, I'm not getting enough stretching. I think I'm still pretty tight when I work out. Like I take them things in, I learn. Like, okay, that's cool. All right, I'm glad you gave me your feedback because you could have sat there and just been unhappy with me. No, you took your time. You came to me. You was like, okay, all right, this is what you can do. I like what you're doing, but I think you can do this better. That's great. That's great. That's great. That's great things right there. Being selfless. Like obviously, you don't want to be selfish. That's not what you want. Like, I
Again,
watched
where generational wealth comes from, bro.
Yep, I know. I watched the movie Cutthroat City one time, and the movie it showed how like the greed of others led to the downfall of like these it was some black teens, like they lost everything, like because they were down bad on money because it was based in the city after Katrina where the government overlooked them completely, like they weren't paying this whole area for nothing. So like, and then their greed got them in trouble in the long run because like they started performing robberies, but then they robbed the place where they couldn't handle it. They tried to rob like a government organization, and then all of them got killed for it. And it's like your greed can always be bad for you. And it's like I ended up going to this Bible verse. I think I had this. It was I think it's First Timothy 6. I'm not mistaken. It's like this whole chapter, like where I can't think of exactly, but it's to be rich with contentment.
Mm.
If you to be okay with contentment, like just be like always be happy with contentment. Like I can't think of the can't recite off the top of my head right now. Wish I could, but like being comfortable with contentment is great. Like I don't want people to confuse with contentment and complacency. That's two different things. Being content is like, okay, like as of right now, I'm a college student. I'm graduating in August. I got a job.
Cool.
I got a job that I can keep. As I try to get to my actual job that I want to do that's pertaining to my degree. You know, Everything's cool. I like where I'm at right now. It's a good spot. Versus complacency would be like as if I'm not doing anything. I'm just waiting till school over and I don't have any idea what I want to do next. That's complacency because I'm not thinking about the future because the future is going to be here very shortly. So like to be happy with contentment is the goal because you can become as the verse did say, those that are endowed in their riches are the downfall of themselves. So don't get too endowed with yourself. Because when you come endowed with yourself and not being selfless, worrying about trying to assist others as you know you can, then you're gonna be your own downfall, knocking and stuff and saying no to help and saying no to easy criticism that could be really, really beneficial to yourself. So it's like all these things, bro. Like generational wealth is it's not built through like being financially literate, even and like these tools we've been mentioning this entire time and budgeting and investing and all that. Yes, those things are helpful to the cause, but the main portion of it all is just the basic principles of like life for real, for real. If you have those basic principalities and all those other things, you can build generational wealth. It's definitely possible. I don't want people to think it's the aforementioned subject. We wouldn't be talking about it if it was like 5,000 years away. No, it's right here in front of you. You just gotta figure out what's best for you and do your thing.
Perfect, man. Couldn't say it better myself.
Well, I don't know about JD, but it's 8:30 on his side. It's almost 11 o'clock over here. And I'm not gonna lie, you saw me rubbing my eye. Your boy is tired. So,
Yeah, man. But just appreciate you marking this time for me, man, to speak on this, man, because it's a lot of more.
you gotta do it some kind of way. Sometimes it might be beneficial to me, but it is beneficial to everybody else. So I'm a prime
But
example
he's taking that sacrifice, you feel me, to when that payout comes, you'll remember these nights.
Yep. Selfless. This is a prime example of selflessness right here. Educated. I could be asleep, but I'm here educating the masses. So I don't want to sound like a jerk, but you're welcome. You're welcome.
Hey man, there's nothing wrong with patting yourself on the back, man. Sometimes always the humble approach is always the more acceptable, but sometimes you gotta somebody ain't gonna give you your flowers, and sometimes you gotta pick them out.
Gotta give it to yourself. Well, that's all I got for you all today, man. I hope y'all tune in for the bits or pieces or whatever part of the conversation you did watch. I hope y'all definitely tuned in because some knowledge was dropped, and I hope you use it into the best of your abilities to further your investing, your budgeting, however you want to better yourself financially, because finances are something we all got to face. It's not the now, it's in the later. And even I learned something because I'm gonna start changing the way I look at stocks, and the Acorns app I do use for where I put my money in has like a savings thing. I want to learn.
I got Acorn as well too. I got Acorn.
Just
I
gotta
got
learn how to use that money.
E-Trade, Fidelity, shit.
Yeah.
I use this it's like basically it's a digital piggy bank called Digit, because for me it helps me actually put aside for a specific goal. So whether it's like maybe a particular vacation or like a product I want to buy or whatever, so I have that set to have them set those separate things off, and then I can have them either put towards maybe $1.05, $10 every other week or whatever, or however recurring you want it to come, you feel me? So it's definitely ways where you can help. Like, say for me, it like you can also do this for free or be disciplined enough to write everything down. But like I say, we know sometimes we spend more than what we have, or dip into some stuff that we don't necessarily mean to. So just another way to help, a whole nother plug, man. So one of these things got to sponsor us at this point, because bro, we giving you game.
We giving you everything. We giving you everything possible. Maybe one day this could be like a bi-weekly or weekly thing where we just drop some finance knowledge for the people, and y'all just give us your thoughts and your responses to know what you want to hear us talk about. Because I already do it with my self-care Saturdays with my health knowledge, and I'm more than welcome to open it to somewhere else where I can find another day. We can sit down for like 40 minutes to an hour and just be even shorter, less than 30 to 40 minutes, to give y'all some quick tidbits on a certain finance topic, and we roll it out 30 minutes. We break it down to the best we can, and we teach y'all as much as we can just to better ourselves and, help the masses as we try to do with episodes like this. But long story short, other podcast news, let's see, 29, 20, 29, 30, 4 episodes left, guys. We got 4 episodes left in the season.
Ooh.
I've covered everything. I've tried to do the best I can for season 2. Season 3, I don't know at this moment in time. All I know is I got 2 series on the way.
You already giving away too much, man. They go.
Gotta tell them what's coming up. To expect to be surprised. Obviously, I'm gonna continue with what I'm doing here with the regular episodes and the regular doses, but a cartoon series, Nickelodeon. Stay tuned. NBA series as well. I got some things coming along the way, so stay tuned for all those and other things, of course. But next week, join us for episode 28 as we continue our musical beginnings series, part 3. We talk with JTurnity and his pathways of music. We run it back on the track because he's a track runner. He liked the pun. Sorry, not a jokester, but I figured somebody would get it. But yeah, that's what we got next. But in the meantime, I appreciate y'all for coming out today to watch my episode. And as always, stay tuned. And this is your host, Hours, signing off. And I appreciate JD for coming on. Follow the Area 1510 podcast on Instagram. And like you said, on all platforms, not just Spotify and Apple, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and others. So.
Yes. And you can also find my IG at it's JD with 2 underscores in between A and JD. So go and do that. And yes, please check out the Area 510 podcast. We drop every Tuesday. You feel me? We just dropped our 18th episode this past Tuesday. So please tap in and don't forget also we got options. That's actually the business that actually sponsored the podcast as well. So yes, please. And that's at you can find that Instagram at _ we got options. So
yeah. Great stuff, man. I went to say this earlier. I had my little California shirt on, my little Pacific Ocean, had my little palm trees in the background.
I see it, man. Hey, we gotta get you down on this side, man. Really show you how.
When the money is right, don't worry. Your boy is definitely gonna travel and do some things. But in the meantime, we gotta grind now so I can lay back later. So I won't be going back to Cali, as Biggie says, but I will be coming there soon. But I'm all out of the analogies. I'm all out of the puns, man. Like I said, I appreciate y'all for joining us. And this is your host, Ira, signing off. And as always, see y'all soon. What's up, everybody? That concludes today's episode. Join us next time when we release another one. As always, we continue releasing episodes Friday at 12 on a bi-weekly basis. Give us a follow on our pages, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. All the ad names are right there on the screen. As always, this is your host, Ira, signing off. And see y'all soon.